Well, Grand Rising Garden family, in episode 1, we saw Adam and Eve take those first terrifying steps out into the nowhere. Today in chapter 2, we're going to do chapter 2 and chapter 3 because chapter 2 is very short. So today, the reality is going to set in. And if you've ever gone through any kind of a life quake situation, you know that oftentimes the second day, third day, sometimes even a year later, uh, is harder than the first day. It can be tough. First day, shock, right? But after the shock wears off, that's when the thirst for what it is that you're lacking sets in. I had a bee buzz in my head, but that's when the thirst sets in for what it is that you lost, what you feel like you're lacking. Let's look at how the first residents handled their first day of survival. All right, tribe. Well, I really wanted to read this one out in the yard for y'all. I thought it was a beautiful setting. But it's hot outside today in South Carolina, and my camera kept shutting off because the device was overheating. So we're back inside, and we're going to pick up the book, chapter 2. Here we go. The book of Adam and Eve, chapter 2, the cave of treasures. But when our father Adam and Eve went out of the garden, they trod the ground on their feet, not knowing they were treading. And when they came to the opening of the gate of the garden, and saw the broad earth spread before them, covered with stones large and small, and with sand, they feared and trembled, and fell on their faces from the fear that came upon them, and they were as dead. Because, whereas they had hitherto been in the garden land, beautifully planted with all manner of trees, they now saw themselves in a strange land, which they knew not and had never seen. And because at that time they were filled with the grace of a bright nature, and they had not hearts turned towards earthly things, therefore had God pity on them. And when he saw them fallen before the gate of the garden, he sent his word unto Father Adam and Eve, and raised them from their fallen state. This is chapter 3, chapter 3, concerning the promise of the great 5 days and a half. God said to Adam, I have ordained on this earth days and years, and thou and thy seed shall dwell and walk in it until the days and years are fulfilled. Fulfilled. When I shall send the word that created thee, and against which thou hast transgressed. The word that made thee come out of the garden, and that raised thee when thou wast fallen. Yes, the word that will again save thee when the 5 days and a half are fulfilled. But when Adam heard these words from God, and of the great 5 days and a half, he did not understand the meaning of them. For Adam was thinking that there would be but 5 days and a half for him to the end of the world. And Adam wept and prayed to God to explain to him. Then God, in his mercy for Adam, who was made after his own image and similitude, explained to him that these were 5,500 years, and how one would then come and save him and his seed. But God had before that made this covenant with our father Adam, in the same terms ere he came out of the garden, when he was by the tree whereof Eve took the fruit and gave it to him to eat. Inasmuch when our father Adam came out of the garden, he passed by that tree and saw how God had then changed the appearance of it into another form, and how it withered. And as Adam went to it, he feared, trembled, and fell down. But God in his mercy lifted him up, and then made the covenant with him. And again, when Adam was by the gate of the garden, and saw the cherub with a sword of flashing fire in his hand. And the cherub grew angry and frowned at him. Both Adam and Eve became afraid of him and thought he meant to put them to death. So they fell on their faces and trembled with fear. But he had pity on them and showed them mercy, and turning from them, went up to heaven and prayed unto the Lord and said, Lord, thou didst send me to watch at the gate of the garden with a sword of fire. But when thy servants Adam and Eve saw me, they fell on their faces and were as dead. O my Lord, what shall we do to thy servants? Then God had pity on them and showed them mercy and sent his angel to keep the garden. And the word of the Lord came unto Adam and Eve and raised them up. And the Lord said to Adam, I told thee that at the end of 5 days and a half I will send my word and save thee. Strengthen thy heart, therefore, and abide in the cave of treasures, of which I have before spoken to thee. And when Adam heard his word from God, he was And when Adam heard this word from God, he was comforted with that which God had told him, for he had told him how he would save him. So that's chapter 2 and chapter 3. And y'all, when we read chapters 2 and 3, we don't see Adam and Eve fighting an army. We see them completely overwhelmed by this new reality that they're living in. Have you ever had a moment in life that hit you so hard it physically took your breath away? A moment where the grief or the financial stress or just the weight of the situation made you feel like you wanted to collapse, like you just wanted to fall down and play dead because standing up feels impossible. That is the ultimate 3D shock. But notice this, Adam and Eve didn't stay down. They got back up. In fact, God brought them up. God lifted them up. He raised them up. And he promised you what? That he was going to send somebody to save you. So if you're feeling overwhelmed today, like the weight of your circumstances had just knocked you off your feet, hear this. It's okay to stumble, but you're made to get back up. You were made to stand. Now this garden right here is 173 residents, growing strong, and we're learning how to pick ourselves back up. We're learning how the Creator lifted us up and he's going to save us, right? Because we know that we are just heavenly beings having a human experience. And we have to learn. We have to learn how to overcome these trials. We're going to rebuild our sanctuaries from the dirt up. So go ahead, hit subscribe. Leave a comment if you've ever been knocked down. I want you to share your strength with the whole community, with the world. This is worldwide. Tell us all how you've been strong. We can use it. We're here to help each other. And I appreciate you, every one of you. I thank you all so much for joining me on this path, for just all of the encouragement that I receive from everybody. It's a beautiful thing, and it raises me up the times when this human 3D form has error, you know. I get in them things, but you know what's wonderful is I can snap back quick now. Used to be I would fall into a state that was less than epic, and I might stay in that state for some time, but I know where my peace comes from, and I can grab a hold of it and know that I'm going to be raised up. So until next time, dear friends, I'm sending you peace, love, and blessings.